guys, and welcome back to my channel. First of all, happy birthday to me. The day I'm filming this video and the day you're going to be watching this video is the same day, 6th of September 2021, which is also my 22nd birthday, and I am so excited. Obviously I look very extra. I'm wearing a dress right now, which obviously you can't tell, but yeah, I'm wearing my special birthday dress. I am completely ready, of course, hair, makeup, and also perfume, which I'll talk about in just a second. I'm completely ready, just got ready, and I was like, you know what, like every single year I have to do a video just dedicated to my birthday, dedicated to the fact that today we complete 4 years of being on YouTube. I've had a YouTube channel for 4 years. I started exactly 4 years back on my 18th birthday, and today on my 22nd birthday we complete 4 years. It's very special because it's obviously a very big milestone in my life, but it's also a milestone in my YouTube journey as well, which makes it even more exciting. So I had to do a video, and today's video was one. So I had 2 ideas in mind. One, I had to like kind of share my mindset shift when it comes to gifts and just growing up and stuff, and then the other idea was I really want to make a video and talk about just things that I've learned over the years. I feel like that's the kind of person I am in real life as well. Like when I talk to my close friends, I talk about like deep stuff all the time, but obviously I have a more makeup beauty related channel, so I don't get the opportunity to talk about that side of my life all the time. But I did want to make a video and kind of talk about all the stuff that I've learned in the past 22 years of my life. So that's what this video is going to be about. It's definitely going to be long, I can tell you that already, which is why I will either do like one long video, maybe I'll divide it into 2 parts, and I'll post the first part today and maybe the second part after 2 days probably. So yeah, that's what I have in mind. Of course, I had to make it like a 22 lesson that I've learned in 22 years. I just had to do that. So yeah, we're gonna dive right into it and talk about the 22 things that I've learned in the past 22 years of my life. And the first thing, and probably the most important thing, and this is a very cliche thing, but it's whatever is meant to be it's just going to happen. There is no other way related to that. And I have a small story to share with you that is kind of related to this. So the past, I would say 2-ish years or so has been really hard for all of us because of the pandemic and the lockdown. People have lost their jobs. People don't really know what they want to do in terms of studies and career wise. And my personal like career that I wanted to pursue after graduation is also an industry that's not doing very well right now. And there was a lot of frustration, a lot of I did not know what I was doing, and for like a year I was also not working because I just didn't know what direction my life is going in. But this whole period basically taught me that whatever is meant to be, whatever is meant to happen, if things are meant to work out, they're going to work out for you no matter what. If they're not meant to be, they're not going to happen. And also, like parallel to it, I would say is that when I decided that, you know what, the industry that I want to go in is not really doing well right now, so it's not really the time to go into it. And I was just looking at jobs on the side where it was like related to what I've learned in the past, and like the skills that I have would be necessary for the job. I interviewed at a lot of places. Some of them were offering great money, but then the job was not really what I really wanted. I did not vibe with the company ethics, and I would say it was very easy for me to get a job. It did not really take that long, but throughout the process, some days I would just be really disappointed. But now I am so happy and so proud to say that the company that I work with, I was just meant to be here, and I was meant to do what I'm doing right now. And there's of course a lot into it which I don't want to get into detail because I'm not here to share nitty-gritty personal details of my life. I think those are things that I do want to keep a little private, but I can just tell you that I am a prime example of someone who did not know which direction her life is going to go into a year from today. And today I want to say that things worked out the way they were about to, and I am just looking forward to see what magic happens in the future. So trust me when I say this, if something is meant to be, it's going to happen, and no one can take that away from you. No matter what, it's going to you're going to get it if you're meant to get it, if that makes sense. So yeah, that was the first lesson that I have learned. The second one is that if you're trying too hard to make something happen, it can be a relationship, it can be a friendship, it can be anything, it can even be a job or a career or just studying anything. If you're trying too hard to achieve something but it's just not happening, I think after a point you just have to realize that, you know what, this is not meant to happen. It's not happening because it's not meant to happen. There are times when, yes, people say that, you know what, you just have to try a little harder, God is testing you. Yes, God is testing you, I agree with that. But if you have been trying really hard for a really, really, really long amount of time, after a point you just have to call it quits. It's not meant to happen. It is not meant to happen. And after you give up and after you quit, eventually you will just see why it was not meant to happen. I feel like this has happened to me so many times in terms of jobs and relationships and friendships. When I let go of a job opportunity or a friendship or anything like that, eventually I just realize after like a month or two, like, the universe will give you signs. The universe will give you signs as to why things did not work out the way you wanted them to work out. They were just not meant to be. And you will realize why things are happening the way that they're happening. You might be disappointed in the beginning, but eventually you'll be like, you know what, God saved me. God saved me at the right time, at the right moment, and they'll just give you signs that, you know what, it's time to quit. It's time to quit, and once you do, you'll realize why. So yeah, if you're trying too hard for something, after a point, just try to give up, like, see how that works out, and eventually you'll thank me and you'll thank God. So yeah. The third one is, don't try to please people. It's going to literally get you nowhere. And again, I think moral compass is a very important thing. We all have our morals, ethics and values. Some people do, some people don't. And I think who a person truly is, you can tell that by just having some random conversations with them. There are people who you might feel like you vibe with, you gel with, and like they're really fun loving to be. Like, two extroverts can really bond well together, and two introverts might probably not talk to each other at all. But despite that, you know what, no matter how your nature is, sometimes you just feel like, oh, this person has a really nice vibe and we might vibe really well together. But then eventually, the more they talk to you, the more they speak about people in their life, how they feel about their career, their job, their education, their respective partners even, that really speaks a lot about a person, and it tells you a lot about someone's moral compass. And I have a very high moral ground. I'm not boasting and being like, oh, I'm the best. No, I'm not. I make mistakes too, but I feel like if someone just does morally and ethically wrong things, I do judge them for it. I would never say that I'm not a judgmental, like, I'm a non-judgmental person. I do think I am a judgmental person at times, but I don't judge you for what you do unless and until you are going very, very, like, unethical. Like, if you're going in an unethical direction, then yes, I will judge you. But otherwise, you can honestly, I think we all have the right to take decisions for ourselves and decide what we want, and no one should be judged for it. Absolutely. But I feel like I'm going on a different tangent altogether. What I'm trying to say basically is that sometimes you have a friend, you have a colleague, someone who you don't vibe with on a moral, ethical level, and I feel like just surrounding yourself with that kind of negative energy is not what you deserve. And I think that really messes up a person in ways that will change them forever. So I feel like there are times when you just have to cut off people from your life because of those very deep grounded values that you have inside you. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Again, there are people who I know that just can't let go of that attachment, but I feel like you need to, at some point you need to, sooner or later it's going to happen. So might as well, the less amount of time they stay in your life, the better is it for you. But anyways, moving on to the fourth lesson that I've learned is that some people are just not your people. Again, this is very similar to the first, like the third point that I mentioned earlier. You can have them around you, like again, with my like recent job and stuff like that, I've realized that not everyone needs to be your friend. When you are in college, it's very different from when you are in the workplace, and I feel like I did not at this point, but I totally should have. And your circle is going to be, and the people you are around is going to be very different when you're in college, you're surrounded by your friends, your classmates, your batchmates, and typically those are people who you will like, who you have common interests with and stuff like that, and that's why they're surrounded by you, like around you. But when it comes to a work setting, a work atmosphere, especially like a corporate office kind of an atmosphere, you're surrounded by your colleagues, and your colleagues come from different backgrounds, different cultures, different belief systems, different industries, probably, unless and until they're all doing what they have a degree for, which may not always be true, and I'll talk about that later. But here I'm just saying that your colleagues might be very different from you, and they're your colleagues, they're not your friends, unless and until, of course, you develop a friendly bond with them. Again, that would be absolutely awesome, and I think you're very, very lucky if you do get to experience that. But if you don't, you're just surrounded by people that you have to be around, because all of you all have been employed by the same employers, but they don't need to enter the walls. They don't have to come inside your life, they don't have to become a part of your life unless and until you want them to. So don't let them get to you, keep them at like an arm's length. Of course, if you're working on a project together, or you are again, if you want to let them into your life, I think that's totally fine, but you don't have to, and you don't have to ever let them get to you. Don't do that. It's not healthy. It's not at all healthy. So yeah, that's the fourth point. The fifth point is, again, this is a very typical one. I think everyone knows about this. I don't need to talk much about it, but please be very mindful about what you spend your money on, how much you spend money on what, how much you save, how much you spend. I don't think there's anything wrong about spending money. I think eventually वो बोलते हैं ना कि तुम मरने के बाद पैसे ऊपर लेके तो जाने वाले होने, right? So I think it's important that you're earning money and you're working so hard so that you can spend on things that you want to spend it on. But I think it's important that you understand what essentials are and what you really need, or and also treat yourself occasionally, but also think about the future, think about rainy days. And I think this is also one of my next point. My sixth point is save money as much as possible on a regular basis for rainy days. So basically, again, these two are kind of interrelated. I think it's important to know what you're spending money on and if it's actually worth the money, and then it's just important that you compartmentalize your money, and whatever money you're earning, decide how much you want to save, how much you want to spend, how much you're going to spend any which ways. Like let me compare this to my previous job where I was working and where I'm working now. So now, when I was 19-20 and I was working, I would save 50% of the money. And when I say save, I used to give it to my mom to like invest in different places, because I'm not really the best when it comes to investing. Let me just say that I'm someone who has zero knowledge about it. So I'm just like, what, you take this money and you do whatever you want with it. So she invested in different places and stuff like that. And then the other half of my salary, I would just shop it all out. Like, if you see all the skincare, makeup, perfumes, a bunch of stuff in the past 2 years that I have on my channel, it's all because of that money that I earned in 2019. Okay, so that's how I used to be spending my money. And of course, there were the travel expenses, which were like 5-10% of my salary again, whereas now I feel like it's very different. Now I'm more of I spend 5 to 10% of my salary on like traveling and stuff like that, and then I would say I do splurge occasionally on like eating out and stuff, because it can just get super boring, and I feel like we've not treated ourselves enough. Like, at least I was not someone who would order out a lot in the lockdown and stuff, because obviously you couldn't for the most part, and then otherwise also I wouldn't really try out different like food places and stuff. So I feel like I've kind of trying to be doing that. But apart from that, I feel like I've not been spending as much money as I have been saving. Like, the ratio is definitely improving. I'm not trying to boast whatsoever, but I just think it's important. After some point, you just realize that you have to do it. And I feel like the COVID situation, the lockdown taught us that a lot. That, there are times where, you can just suddenly lose your job. And if you've spent all your money, you will be left with no savings. So please save money for rainy days. So yes, moving on next, the seventh point that I have, and I feel like I'm going so slow, I'm definitely gonna have to make two parts for this video, so be prepared for that. The seventh point that I'm going to talk about is to optimize the time to the best of your abilities, because lost time is never going to come back. And this is something again which I feel like my new job kind of made me realize, because it's like not a work from home thing. Okay, I have to actually go to office. So basically, when I first joined and when I started going to office every single day, I was waking up in the morning, taking a shower, getting ready, having breakfast, leaving for work, working till evening, and then by the time I come home, I'm just having dinner and I'm going to bed. That's it. That's all I am doing. And eventually I just realized I don't have time for other things. I don't have time for friends. I don't have time for YouTube. I don't have time to content create or to do research about like new launches, watch videos. I don't have time for anything. Now I feel like after, you know, it's not been 6 months, it's been like 2 to 3 months, I would say. Now I've realized how I can optimize my time and do more. So like for example, when I'm getting ready in the morning or when I'm having breakfast, I will watch videos, because I don't just watch videos for pleasure, I also watch videos to research and learn stuff. And all of that, of course there is the pleasure element, which is like 80%, but the rest of it is researching, understanding new things, learning about them, so that I can educate other people, apply it in my own life, and then share my experiences as well. So yeah, that's what I've been doing with like watching YouTube videos and stuff. And then I also try to like cut down my getting ready time in the morning, and try to like occasionally film like 1 or 2 videos, like the shorter ones. I do feel like I get some, like I have to squeeze in time in the morning to get that in as well. But then that's why I have so many pre-filmed videos, where if I don't film videos for a week or two, I'm still fine. So that's a way that I've been really trying to optimize my time. And then in the night as well, I feel like now that I've gotten used to going to work, I'm not as tired, and I would do like other stuff in the night as well that I want to do. And I just feel like I'm doing more than just eating, working, sleeping, and yeah, taking a shower and stuff. So yeah, I think it's very important to optimize your time, because that's how, like, eventually, if like you have a job where you're going to work like consistently and you're not getting a vacation very often, then all you're doing is just working and earning money. Like your life is going to be nothing apart from that. No hobbies, no social life, no nothing. You got to make time for these things. You got to, and you got to figure out your way as to how you can do that, because I know not everyone's schedule is like mine. So obviously you got to find a different way to do that. So yeah, that was my 7th point. The 8th point is that you just got to prioritize. Again, it's kind of related to the earlier one, where you have to prioritize things in your life, but my 8th point is more about prioritizing people in your life. So you need to know who is at the top of your priority list, who is in the middle of your priority list, and people who are at the bottom of your priority list. You really got to figure that out, because there are going to be times where you have to choose between someone who is super like on the top of your list, and there are going to be people who are somewhere on the bottom or towards the middle even. Who are you going to choose? You got to make the choice, and you got to decide how you're going to prioritize, who you're going to choose. If you're super busy and if you have 2 friends who are asking to meet you on the same day, one is like your bestest friend and the other is maybe like a work colleague who you have to socialize with for like work purposes or stuff. It can be any situation. Make up whatever you want in your head, but you got to figure out what you're going to do in a situation like that. So yeah, you got to do that. Okay, so I'm back after a quick water break. I feel like I'm not used to like filming these long videos anymore. It's been like 2-3 weeks and I've forgotten how to film. So yeah, let's cover 2 more points, because the video is also getting quite long, and then I'll do the part 2. So the next point, which again, a very very important lesson that I've learned, is that you need to take people at face value. I feel like we have actually, you know what, let me cover the 9th and the 10th point together, because I feel like again they're kind of interrelated. So the 9th point, like I said, is that you need to take people at face value, and don't make up what you think they are in your head. I feel like a lot of overthinkers, of course me included, are like that, where you assume that a person is going to be like that, and you kind of make up these imaginary scenarios in your head, and you're like, this person is like this, like this, like this, and that's how, you know, we're going to be, etc., etc. But people slowly start like show you their true colors eventually, and that's when you really realize what a person is like. So take people for what they are in front of you, how vulnerable they are to you, how much they open up to you, and how they think, how they feel, how they react, how they treat you, how much they respect you. Take it like, a lot of times, again, this is kind of what do you say, it's like an exception, but I would say a lot of times people pretend to have like a wall up, and they try to be more cold than what they actually are. Like, they might be a warm fuzzy person on the inside, someone super duper sweet, very very loving, very very caring, but if they're pretending to be cold to you, there's again probably a reason for that. And I would just say that you can't assume that every cold person is warm and fuzzy and heart. Some people just are that way, and you got to take that for what it is, instead of just trying to make them up to be more flowery in your head as compared to what they are. So yeah, I think that's again one of the mistakes that I have done, which I don't want anyone else to do. That's why I'm telling you, don't do that. Don't do that. Treat people the way they treat you, and take them for what they are. That's just all that you can do. And last but not the least, the 10th point that I'm going to talk about in this video is that don't expect anything from anyone. Just don't, how do I put this? Yeah, I would say don't do anything based on what people expect out of you as well. So now this is like a situation A, situation B. Okay, situation A, you expect people to do something for you, and then they don't do that, and then you're disappointed that, you know what, I thought you'll be like this, I thought you'll do this for me, that for me. A, maybe the person doesn't know that you expect those things out of them. So if you want something out of them, then you just got to be vocal about it, and like expect, like not even expect them, but like request them to do that for you. Like, for example, I want my best friend to be there on my birthday. I can't just expect her to come and surprise me. I gotta tell her that, you know what, I want you there on my birthday. You gotta come for my birthday. You gotta spend the night with me, whatever. You gotta tell them that. You can't expect someone to do that for you. A. And B is that sometimes there are just some people in your life who will expect you to do certain things for them. Like, for example, do a favor. Maybe like, for example, we work, you know, in a department where we have like so and so number of clients, and there might be a client that you know, is really good, but like your colleague is expecting you to like share the client information, maybe pass on a client, because maybe you're not able to like communicate really well with that. This is just a very vague example, I feel like, but basically what I'm trying to convey is that sometimes people just think that you're going to oblige them with a favor or just do something for you. It's them who's wrong. It's them who's expecting things out of you, and you should not do anything for anyone unless and until you truly want to do, just because they expect that out of you. So yeah, I feel like, I hope that made sense. And yeah, this is gonna be the part 1, and I'm gonna see you in the part 2 video, the part 2 of this video. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, you guys. See you in the part 2 video. Bye bye.